I told y'all it's okay to be big, and then she went to go lose weight. You notice how she set y'all up like that? Yeah, did y'all notice that? Or was that just me? You notice that these celebrities will always tell you to live a certain way, and they don't live that way themselves. You notice that? You notice how Cardi B told you, I don't cook or clean, well, let me tell you how I got my ring, but then the ring is gone? You see how celebrities will tell you to do something that they don't even do? You know how Cardi B said she don't even let her child listen to her music because she knows that what she's singing about is wrong. And that's not how she wants to raise her daughter up, but she'll raise y'all daughters up like that though. Yeah, she'll raise y'all's daughters up like that, yeah. But she ain't gonna raise hers like that. You notice that? You see where I'm going with this? Y'all gonna get enough of worshiping these celebrities like they're God, baby. Y'all know.
Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. But yeah, this is the hell of an influence, that has most women enchanted, with these different enchantments, spells, these incantations that's done using these so-called celebrities. But who's behind these celebrities? You ever asked yourself that question? Jake, what I'm saying, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans don't own record labels. So who do? So-called white man. In particular, the Amalekites, so-called Jewish people, they control all the mainstream record labels that actually intentionally sign these artists on it. They do this on purpose to, teach our women and the men a destructive lifestyle that they copy because of their ignorance. And, by people look up to these so-called celebrities to influence them. But this so-called white man, the Jewish people, set these celebrities up to lead our people astray, especially the women. Really, the men and the women, but especially the women. Right. So let's go here, and this is purposely done. Um, and then you got our people that's willing to sell themselves out, sell their morals and their values out to get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? For so-called fame and fortune, so-called make a deal with the devil. But these enchantments, incantations, is done via one of the ways it's done, a major way is done through the music. That's why all the music is destructive, especially so-called rap music. It's destructive, right? It's straight up demonic. And that ain't even showing you in the music videos and in their lyrics, they put in their lyrics that they worship Satan. They're not even hiding anymore. But the Amalekites, the Jewish people, is the one that set these artists up to keep our people entrapped in sin, to snare them. Jeremiah 5:26. It says, "For among my people are found wicked men." This includes women too. They lay wait. As he that setteth snares, they set a trap. They catch men. So, one of the ways that this is done is using these rappers to destroy the minds of the men and the women of our nation so they can go and copy this behavior, these incantations that they hear, these lyrics are spells, and the women are so delusional that they think this is reality, and they go and copy this behavior and they destroy their lives. You got a lot of these jakes that have went and listened to NBA Youngboy, and all these other drill rappers that went around the block on their ops, right, and got a murder charge. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. Selling drugs, glorifying demonic behavior, celebrating degeneracy, being a demon, being evil, wicked, um, worshiping and coveting so-called money and fame and fortune. That's how they trap our people. Let me read this again. But the Amalekites, right, are the ones that facilitate this. They're the one that really set this up. This is done on purpose, like I said. Jeremiah 5:26. But a lot of these jakes are looking to get out of poverty. They're looking a way to circumvent the curses. For among my people are found wicked men and women, right? That lay wait is he that set his snares. They set a trap. They even got some called trap music. where trap music is a one-way pipeline to the graveyard and to the prison. They catch men. Let's go to 27. As their cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxing rich. So this happened back then, all right, and this happened again today in a different way. So our people have became rich. These entertainers and these rappers and etc. All preaching a destructive lifestyle to our people so they can destroy themselves. And they don't give a damn because they're looking for a way to get around these curses. But who's facilitating this? The Amalekites, the Jewish people, which are Edomites, control all the major record labels. They purposely sign these artists, and they even got songwriters that give them the lyrics and tell them what to say, put the music videos together for them to put these incantations, these spells on our people. Isaiah 29:15. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's why you got something called the Illuminati. The Illuminati and these other secret societies, they operate in secrecy from the public eye, so to speak. And their works are in the dark. That's that secrecy. And they say, who seeth us and knoweth us, and who knoweth us? So who able to figure out what's going on, what we doing behind the scenes, because the general public is oblivious and ignorant to this. They don't have a clue what is going on, but we see what's going on. And this is purposely done. Let's go to 16. Salakia. It says, surely you're turning up things upside down. And you got literally everything is upside down. Whatever the Most High established, these Edomites that's in rulership, you know what I'm saying, they do the opposite. I mean, literally on everything. So that's why everything is turned upside down. Everything is backwards. Instead of the man being empowered, they actually empower women. And these women are so drunken with feminism, they can't even understand that they've been used. They have been used for an agenda to destroy their own people. They don't get it though. And in many, many other things that they do too that you have no idea that is going on. It says, shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, you had no understanding? So this is you devil's inner workings. You think, that your way is the correct way, the biblical way. You have not even followed that, and actually you're a liar because you have claimed that this nation was built on the biblical fundamentals, but that's a lie. That's just a cover story to keep the people, in compliance. And these Jewish people are the problem, what I'm saying, from the nation of Edom that push all this death and destruction and this wickedness throughout our people, using them as a weapon. They just pawns. It says in slang, op. It says can refer to opposition or enemy. And contrary to what you've been, taught, that, as God, he got ops, and one of his main ops, the main ops that he got is the Edomites, because they facilitate wickedness. They do it in many different crafty ways. They have something when they have these think tanks that think of ways how to further oppress our people and keep them in sin. And our people are oblivious to this because they sheeple. Let's go here. Habakkuk 2:15. And you see these Cardi B's and these unsexy reds, they have no talent. They hear the broad Cardi B talk, she sound like a fucking retard. But they go to show you that these people are used as an agenda. They use to do an agenda. They weaponize these women, so-called rappers, all right, so they can go and preach destructive lyrics to the women that the women copy out of their stupidity. And the men too, you got Jake with their pants off their ass, rolling up a blunt, right, completely out of their mind, wandering aimlessly through Babylon, spiritually dead. Habakkuk 2:15, it says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. So a way that this can be applied is the Edomites have gave you all this poison through the music and entertainment. They have indoctrinated your mind and brainwashed you from ever since you came out of the womb, right? That put us diabolical to him. So these Edomites set these rappers up to push destruction on our people. And then once they push the destruction, they'll say, see, look at your people. And makes him drunken. So our people was in a drunken state spiritually. They're drunken on white so-called Jesus. They're drunken into Christianity. They're drunken in this whole Babylon wine, right? That those mayors look upon their nakedness. So our people are in a shameful state right now, seeing how they conduct themselves from day to day. They're completely unrecognizable people, but being, they're unrecognizable that they're the people of the Lord, but they really are. But they're like heathens in the mindset and the actions, the way they carry themselves. Habakkuk 2:16. It says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory." So this is going to come back and backfire on you. Drink thou also. Let thy foreskin be uncovered. So it's going to come back on you. You're going to be exposed for all your ill dealings. That's what we're doing. The cup of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that's a multitude of different ways that this apply. Right? So the so-called white man was, got this image that he's righteous and he's the people of the Lord, but he's nothing but a devil. They have raped, robbed, and stolen everything that they have, and they've set up this false Christianity to entrap our people inside of sin and wickedness, and our people have no clue. But they thought they was going to be able to get away with this forever. No. That's why we're exposing this. Let's go here. Right here. It says right here, the concept of wicked plot against the righteous. So the wicked is the so-called white race that has relabeled themselves white, Jewish, Europeans, British, Australians, the Canadians, the Americans. These are the Edomites, biblical Edomites, because they don't even use the biblical ethnicities. It's a recurring theme in religious texts, particularly in the Bible. It highlights the conflict between those who are considered morally upright, which would be you Israelites, and those who are perceived as evil or sinful. So there'd be the nation of Edom and all these other heathen nations, right? Check this out. It says right here, the theme right here, beyond the Bible at the top. This theme extends beyond religious texts and can be seen in various forms of literature, storytelling, and real life situation. It reflects a universal human experience of conflict and tension between opposing moral systems. So this system that you're in right now is straight up wicked. It's against the God out of the Bible, as you say, but you don't have no clue of this because you don't know what the Bible is really talking about because you've been under this influence of Christianity in a modern sense of it. So what else I want to get to? But they plot against you, they scheme, they do these agendas, right? And you have no clue that this going on. Habakkuk right here, 2:15. Check this out. This is what I wanted. It says the verse is warning against those who seek to gain pleasure or power over others by taking advantage of their vulnerable state. So the so-called white man know that our people are in a low state right now. So he's put that bottle to them in a metaphoric sense, gotten them drunk. And how you do this with the entertainers, the celebrities, modern television, modern programming, the school system, everywhere you could think you've been indoctrinated. It also implies that such actions will ultimately bring shame and judgment on the perpetrator. So it's going to come back on you. All right, hopefully this lesson has been edifying. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rachat, Kodash. Shalom.